ready when you are, my dear.
You're good.
I'm Bruce Frazier. I'm from Texas. I got out of college in '66 in the summer because I had to go back and take music and art appreciation, which they always said, don't worry, you'll never have to take it. But I wanted to go to OCS in the infantry. So when I knew I was going to graduate, I went to Greenville, found an E6, and I said, I want to be in the infantry, I want to go to OCS. And after he picked himself up off the floor from the shock of it all, he signed me up, and mid-September I was going. I went to Fort Dix, basic and AIT. Gay and I married during the Christmas break. Then I went to Fort Benning. She later joined me there along with Mike Krug's wife. And we got out of OCS, went to Fort Hood. I was a division safety officer for the 1st Armored Division. We were killing 2 guys a month at least in training accidents. We ran over them with tanks, and it was unbelievable what was going on. But there were like 85,000 people on that place doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And we were all waiting. I was supposed to go to the 198th over in Vietnam along with a bunch of other guys. And my orders came, and the NCO come in the G2 section. He says, Lieutenant, you're going to Korea. I said, no, I'm not. He said, look at that number. He said, that's Korea. I just came from it. I said, no, it's impossible. I'm going to that. Well, anyway, I went to Korea. When we landed in Japan at Fuji, I could see it in the distance. And they kept us confined real closely. We got in we were in the same plane. They changed the girls. The round eyes got off and the little Japanese or Korean girls got on. I don't know what.
Okay, cool. No, good.
And we took off, and the first thing we realized, there was a fighter escort 2 deep on both sides of us. I thought, oh my God, what is this? So we landed at K-16, which is near Seoul, between Incheon and Seoul, I guess. And they hauled us from there, a short ride and a deuce. We got out, and here's all these tents. I thought, oh my God, we're gonna eat something. And I went in this tent and turned around and said, pull them down, sir. And I got a Gamma Goblin shot that felt like it was that big around right in my hind end. It was like a goose egg. Anyway, I went up to Ton Shan, to 7th Division headquarters, and everybody says, for Christ's sake, don't go up on the DMZ. Don't go to the 17th or the 31st Infantry, don't go. Well, I went to the 17th Infantry, and Camp Kaiser was empty. Everybody was up on the DMZ. And you're running out of bullets. Anyway, I fooled around there a while. They called back and said, you take a bunch of guys, the new guys, down to camp, down at Kondashan and take them to the rifle range and get them zeroed. So we zeroed a bunch of M14s. That's where I found out my son was born. Some Red Cross guy come in looking for me one morning. He says, you got a son, and thanks. And he was a year old and walking around when I got home. Went back to Kaiser. Finally got out to the phase line, they called it. The whole time, I didn't know where in the hell I was in Korea. I didn't realize how far up into the north of that place Camp Kaiser was. To get to our part of the DMZ, we had to go south about 10 or 12 miles, then go west about 12, 15 miles, and then go north to get to our part in the DMZ. I was a platoon commander in B Company along with Bobby Conley that's here. And then he later became, after we made first lieutenant, he went to the battalion headquarters as the S4 for Colonel Grimm. Colonel Grimm gave me command of Charlie Company, 117, the greatest honor I've ever had in my life besides my wife and kids. And I commanded that company for, I don't know, 9 or 10 months, I guess, before I got out of there. I only had one soldier killed in the DMZ. I was glad of that. It was a mess. We were out a lot of night, oh my God, hat up, we're gonna load your ammo, out you go, looking for people that broke through the wire. We never knew why. Years after I came home, I found a book about the time I was over there called The Unwritten, what was it? I don't remember the name, but it was about the undeclared war in Korea between 1966 and 1969, which is when I was there. My God, the killing and the mayhem and the planes shooting down and all that. The Pueblo's the reason I went there. We got a commo thing. We were at the Z on the phase line, and he said, Lieutenant Frazier, get your weapons platoon and go to benchmark so-and-so. And I only had an E5 running my weapons platoon. It was 3 gun tracks with M113s with 81 millimeter mortars and then the FDC. And I took my Jeep up there because it had the battalion net and my company net, so I could stay in touch with everybody. And we got up there, laid the guns, aimed them where we were told to, opened ammunition, didn't hang any of them, but we just had them open. And if we were told to fire, we were to shoot a barrage at X out there. The next thing we realized is there's 2 or 3 buses and a 3/4 ton with a coffin in it. It was the Pueblo crew coming across Freedom Bridge. Not the bridge there's several bridges there. Freedom Bridge is the last one when you go over the MGM. It's not the one up by Panjin Job. And I had a camera with me and I didn't even think to take a photograph of it. I didn't think anything of it. It was just another mission and, whatever. And my time came up. I waived a lot of stuff like blown out ears and stuff to get out because my wife said, if you stay with Captain, I want to divorce you. So I got out and went home and my little man walked up to me. He's 47 now. It was great. It was good life. I loved all the food I ate in the Army. I thrived. I was skinny as a stick, very hard. One of the best things I ever did, I outran one of my Puerto Rican soldiers in a mile run for a PT test. That kid was fast, and I beat him. In those days, you wore your combat boots and your fatigues and a t-shirt, no tennis shoes on. Boy, that kid was hard to beat, but I was pretty hard then. I was young and full of vinegar. I was always honored to command a company of American soldiers. It was wonderful. Soldiers like the NCOs run the Army. All the officers do is sign for the property and eat crow when something goes bad. NCOs run the Army. And a smart officer will let them run it. Kind of what happened. And then, years later, I got in the 7th Infantry Division Association. I don't know how I found it. And then through that, I found the 17th Infantry Regiment Association. I signed up, and oh my God, it's been a great time since.
How many reunions have you done?
I was in right at 3 years. A year in basic AIT and OCS, basically. A little less than that.
Well, how many reunions have you come to?
I don't know, honey. At least 10 or 11.
That
Maybe
long?
More. Since Andy Ferreira put that one on in California.
Wow.
Which was great because I met Fred Kamaka there. Fred was the executive officer of C Company during the war. After the first battle of Pork Chop Hill in April, Fred was the executive officer of C Company during the terrible fight in July.
So have you met people that you used to serve with in
have, except for Bob Connolly, who's here. He's the only one that I've served with, but I've had soldiers that were in our platoon in Korea in B Company. Are you Lieutenant Frazier that was yes. Huh? They couldn't believe it. And I sold them some t-shirts and stuff because they saw it on the web or something. And I've been trying to talk them into coming, but one of them's a police chief in Dowagiac, Michigan or something, and the other one lives in Florida doing something.
So
but there's very few people from my time Because during the Vietnam War, there was none of that sending units. They sprinkled you in one at a time. And there
Talk
was
for a
no,
minute.